Hi. Sorry this is up a little late this week. I've had a bit of an odd weekend. Newborns. Um, just a couple of announcements. The first thing is, if you have not gotten your paper to me yet, please email me your paper. It was due last night. If you have not gotten it to me yet, it is late. The sooner you get to me, the fewer points will be taken off. So please send it to me via either the course Moodle or Gmail. My address is, of course, siz@hcc. Um, get it to me somehow. The second announcement is later this week I will be putting up the final exam. So you'll be able to look at the questions you're going to be answering. You'll be able to start preparing your answers, putting together or pulling together the primary sources and sources from the reading that you'll want to use to answer these questions, right? So you have about a month to do that. That should give you plenty of time to work on your answers. I will have your papers back to you hopefully by the end of the week. Depends on how long it will take me to grade some of these. It shouldn't take me longer than Friday, Saturday, something like that. Maybe next Monday at the latest, but I doubt it. Um, yeah, all that being said, that's this week. The readings for this week, our primary documents are two constitutions, or I guess founding documents for student groups, radical student groups from the 1960s, SNCC, SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and SDS, Students for a Democratic Society, both of them very active in the 1960s. One, a primarily African American civil rights group. SNCC will start out as an integrated group in the 1960, but by 1963 they're going to kick out all the white members and try to act as purely a African American student group or a student of color group. SDS starts a little bit later. They really come into being in about 1967. And their founding document, the Port Huron Statement, really sort of lays out what they feel the big problems are in American society. Unchecked capitalism, the sort of military-industrial complex that Dwight Eisenhower warned about in his farewell address. These sorts of things, the decay of society as people move to suburbs and cause all sorts of problems there. These are the big issues that SDS identify and really try to get into. And then our secondary readings deal with sort of how these groups fit into the larger radical 1960s that we're so familiar with, right? When we think about the 1960s, we think about student protest, we think about protest against Vietnam, we think about the civil rights movement, the war on poverty, maybe to some extent. These are all part of a larger sort of growing discontent with not only American government and distrust with American government, especially after the publication of the Pentagon Papers in 1968, but sort of growing discontent with American society as it's constructed. And some people argue that if we pull out even further, it's not just American society, but it's sort of Western culture and this sort of idea that if you have a grand capitalistic society, what you can do is you can essentially vacuum out any sort of ideology and replace it with materialism, right? And this is sort of a backlash against that in the 1960s. So keep an eye on that and really think about sort of the relationship that exists with these groups, not only internally, right, within the United States, but also internationally, right? Jeremy Suri's article on international counterculture really sort of talks or is talking about these groups in a broad transnational sense, and that's one of the sort of the main themes I've been trying to bring out this semester is transnational American history, sort of how the United States fits into the larger world, and this is an excellent example of that. All right. If you have any questions, as always, shoot me a message in the questions forum, email, course email, whatever. If not, I'll see you next week. All right.